Full Flow Video, post week 2. We're back with another edition. We're going to start off with the interview. We've got last week's champ, Mike Burdikin, on the phone already. This week's interview brought to you by Borderlands 2. Mayhem awaits. Bring friends. Now available on PS3 and Xbox 360. Bird, are you there? He's laughing. I'm going to take that as a yes. Bird, how does it feel to beat a slow person by 30 points?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate, we have a new member of the Fourth Flow League family coming, and that is, well, hopefully Connor, who's going to be the father, paternally, if not biologically, of a kid. He's our first kid. It feels weird, but I do want to congratulate him. He's going to be a great dad. But on a less serious note, it felt really good to beat Noob. Every time I beat him, it always feels good because he is underrated, I think. He's always a tough competitor. He kind of has an unorthodox strategy in pretty much everything he does. But sometimes in fantasy football, he comes out and he's kicked my ass before, so it really feels good to get one on when he puts up 95 points, which is a pretty good number.
Bird, what are you going to do this week without Hakeem Nicks and Aaron Hernandez?
I'm really worried about that, but I feel pretty good about picking up Selleck. If he has a good game, then that'll be hopefully kind of a bonus off of Vic, because lately he's been targeting Selleck a lot. I was hoping to get another receiver. I didn't see anything I really liked that was going to have the same potential as Hakeem Nicks, but I really like Alshon Jeffrey with this matchup, and I think he's going to have a way better week than he had against the Packers. Nate Burleson, he was been injured. He had a leg contusion, which is, as you call it, Spencer, a bruise.
As the layman would say.
And I think he's going to have a better game. I look for him to have between 8 and 12 points, I think. So, against Devo, I really wish I could bring all my firepower, but hey, that's fantasy football.
Speaking of bees, how do you feel about the potential of being 1-0-2 after this week?
It's not in my mind. All I've been thinking about from the moment I wake up in the morning to when I go to bed at night is how it's going to feel beating Steve.
All right, Bert, final question. Reggie Bush, Ben Tate, big numbers last week. Do you sit Chris Johnson this week?
You know what? I don't think I can. I don't think I can sit Chris Johnson. So many pundits and media types like yourself are saying, sit Chris Johnson, he's done. Matthew Berry said the relationship's over, it's not me, it's you, to Chris Johnson. But he's, as a first-round pick, it's really hard to do it. And I think I'll probably ride with him unless I hear something about Ben Tate having a heavier workload.
Bert, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon.
Love you guys. Missed you. We'll see you this week, B-Lo.
Thanks a lot. We're going to go with the week 2 wraparound now.
Yeah, let's go through every matchup here real quick. The first one on the board is you versus Joel. Tough one.
Whatever. Got more points. He scored a lot. It was going to happen.
He's 2-0 and he's looking better than ever.
He is. Didn't think that was going to happen at the draft.
Didn't think it was going to happen, but look at him go.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a force right now. So
you hung on over Mr. Silky Johnson, 95-83 last week. Good performance out of Demaryius Thomas, the number 1 wideout right now.
Silky and I have talked about this. Silky traded me the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 running back, and the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy right now. I have all 3. He has the number 1 tight end in Vernon Davis. So if he had not done that trade, he would have all 4. Best quarterback, best running back, best wide receiver, and best tight end in fantasy right now.
Unstoppable.
So, anyway.
Good thing he gave you 3.
Yeah,
because that'd be unstoppable.
But anyway, it was a tight matchup, but I was lucky to get out of there with a win, so I'll take it.
Bad week for Tom this week. Only put up 44. Brian, again, picking up another victory over someone not named Kirby.
That's going to keep happening, I think. Brian's got a hold on this league when it's not Kirby, so... Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Speaking of Kirby, pretty routine victory, 79-68 over Connor. Connor goes just a little bit lower than his week 1 performance. Kind of expecting him to score probably about 70 points a week unless he makes some moves.
Yeah, he's going a bad direction right now. He's kind of the opposite of Joel. Joel was off to a great start, done nothing but the right things ever since the draft. And Connor, I feel like, is going the opposite direction. Hopefully he has, a move up his sleeve to turn it around, maybe a waiver wire pickup, maybe a trade. We'll see.
He actually went without making the waiver wire pickup this week. I was kind of surprised by that. We already touched on Bird over Noob, 125.95. Our last matchup, Hansen, the champ, he's 2-0, beat Bilo 91.82.
Yeah, and I mean, Hansen's looking good again, too. He's kind of up there with Joel. They're both undefeated, and they're both looking really solid at this point. Personally, I might put Joel slightly ahead of Jake. I just think he's made some moves that have really surprised us, and maybe that's why I elevate him, because I think he's proving that he's a little more dangerous with his moves that he's making. Jake had a great draft, so he's expected to be this good. So right now I got Joel's a little bit scarier.
We'll quickly touch on the waiver wire matchups this week, or waiver wire pickups. Did you have a favorite of the ones that were done this week?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I like Bird's pickup of Selleck. I think Selleck's a great pickup for him to take the slack from Hernandez going down. Especially, if Macklin, my guy, he's injured and banged up. Deshaun Jackson's a little banged up. One of those guys is not going to play this weekend, probably Macklin. If that's the case, look for more targets to Selleck. He's my favorite pickup this week.
I like Selleck as well. I also liked another tight end pickup. Whoever picked up Martellus Bennett.
That'd be me.
Oh, that'd be you. That was a nice pickup.
Starting him against you tonight.
With Nick's out tonight, hopefully Eli Manning does the same thing with Bennett that he did with Victor Cruz and Joel last week. Whatever. Who cares? I'm going to lose again. 0-3. Here we come.
And one last note about the waiver wire was Spence, I think, set a league record this week with 6 waiver wire pickups. So
my bench sucks.
Just to be noted. Yeah,
that's fine. They're not any better now, but at least they're different.
All right, and then we'll go right into some previews here for Week 3. A big week. I was reading a Matthew Berry article today, and he was relaying some stats about the importance of winning Week 3 and the different percentages you have a chance to make the playoffs based on what happens in Week 3, and it's astounding. So this is a big week, and apparently, statistically, it's like the biggest week in fantasy. But anyway, check out the Matthew Berry article on ESPN if you want to read more about that. Starting at the top here, you and me.
Mano a mano. It's a cake eater matchup.
The Cake Eater's looking for its second win of the season in this matchup.
Yeah, well, it's kind of brutal right now. We got 2 0-2s, and Tony finally got a win last week.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much guaranteed, unless...
we could tie.
I shouldn't have said that.
We could tie.
Tony's projected to win by 17 right now. He'll probably win by about 30. That's fine.
We'll see. The Little Engines that brutal.
It's a good team name. I like that.
Yeah, that's Connor's new team name. Is taking on Frank the Finger Blaster and Silk.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Well, Silk has guys at the top of the queues, if you will, as far as points scored thus far. Connor does not, for the most part, but he has Aaron Rodgers. So any week Aaron Rodgers can put up 35.
That's exactly what I told Silky today, too. Same thing.
Connor's still in it. I have Eric winning by low double digits, 10-12.
I also got to go with Silk. I'm a little down on Connor's squad right now, but anything can happen. If I had to put my money on any game this weekend, it would probably be this one. Just that's how down on Connor I am right now.
As long as he doesn't start James Jones, he should probably be in a little better shape than last week. Next up, we've got Mr. Run Noob versus the undefeated Nick Kirby and Ron Bedard, the Dream Team.
Yeah, and I guess in this matchup, you're looking at Noob trying to get off the schneid here.
Get on the board, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go with the favorite. Mustache rides here, I think. I'm looking for Romo to have a bounce-back game. It just sounds like... I don't like Steven Jackson, but I'm still just going to go with the mojo that Kirby's riding right now over a slumping Noob. I
actually have a bit of an upset here. I'm going with Noob. I like his matchups. I think his running backs could go a little wild. I also think that Brandon Gibson, I think Peanut Tillman will give Danny Amendola a lot of pressure this week as they're playing Chicago, so his Brandon Gibson pickup might do well for him this week. I have Noob and a squeaker over Kirby.
Our next matchup is Tom versus Joel, and what we're going to see in this matchup is another undefeated team going against a team that hasn't won, just like the last matchup. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tom's going to score more than 44, but I don't think he's going to get to 100, which is what Joel's been putting up. Alfred Morris, what more can you say about him, I think Joel, did he take...
Well, Joel's down to Ahmad Bradshaw. That's the only thing hurting him this week.
That's true.
I'm still going to take Joel in this matchup, though.
Yeah, those wideouts, Calvin Johnson, Victor Cruz, Reggie Wayne, I think they're Johnson's the lowest of the three right now in terms of points, and that's ridiculous. He doesn't have a touchdown yet. That's the only reason why. But Julio, Dez, no, I got to go with Joel there. Yeah.
I mean, those wide receivers can blow up at any time, and I'm still waiting on Dez to break out. So we're looking at probably a closer game than people think, hopefully. But got to go Joel.
Another good matchup here, Hanson undefeated versus Brown, who only loses to one guy in the league.
Yeah, so this is the two top teams from the draft, according to us.
That's
and,
right. That's right.
I love I love both quarterback matchups. Really, I like both running back matchups as well. McFadden's bound to go off here. Ridley has been playing really well, even though it's Baltimore. Not exactly the greatest matchups there, but you got to look for these guys to blow up. So personally, I guess it's tough to go against Jake here. I mean, those matchups are just a little juicier over there. I don't know.
I actually think it might come down to the third wide receivers and the tight ends in this one. Might be a little bit of the lower rung guys on the team will maybe decide this one. Jake's got Sidney Rice against Green Bay and Tony Gonzalez against San Diego, whereas Brian's got Malcolm Floyd versus Atlanta and Jason Witten versus Tampa Bay. Jason Witten should have a nice bounce-back week, I think, after last week's 4 drops.
Yeah.
I've got Brian in a squeaker.
Sounds good. I'll take Jake in a squeaker.
That's fine.
Our final matchup here.
It's a week 1 rematch already.
It's the week 1 rematch. We just talked about it with Bird. It's Bird versus Bees. The rematch from the tie.
It doesn't get any better than that.
And for this one, let's go to Bird, who I believe is still on the phone. Bird, do you have any comments as to who's going to win this game?
One sec.
1 sec.
He needs to gather his thoughts
I
here.
personally am going to take. I think I'm going to go with
No,
Bird.
I was listening to you. I had you on speaker. What was the question again? Sorry?
We're just going over your matchup here with Bees. Who's going to win and why?
Oh, you know, I've got to say, I think that I'm probably the underdog in this one, thanks to my injuries, and he has some good matchups, and I don't know. I just know that if I was Steve and I lost to me, I'd be devastated.
That's well put. I think that's a good note to end on probably
right.
for us. So, any other thoughts going into the week?
Just, be prepared for some 0-2 teams to do some damage and come up to 1-2.
I'm hoping for some upsets. Let's try to level the playing field a little
There's
bit.
been a little more stratification than usual at the start of the season this year, so there's got to be a bounce back eventually. Everybody's 6-6 in this league all the time, so.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching again. We'll see y'all next week. Good luck this weekend. An extra thanks to Bird, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week 3.